Welcome to day 50, countdown to the new year 2026. I hope you're doing well. I'm doing well. Just want to hop into this video. And the topic for today is complaining is contagious. So, as you guys know, the topics come from different aspects of my life, of what I've learned over this year, what I'm going through currently, what I've learned past years. So today was very heavy on the understanding that complaining is very contagious. At work, there are a lot of changes that are happening, and it's so easy to get caught up. What I found today, what I've been finding over the past couple of days is that it's very, very easy to get caught up in complaining. It's very easy to get caught up in the gossip. It's very easy to get caught up in the the ideas that you have versus what the company heads have, what the managers have, what the supervisors have, those goals, you can, as an employee, you oftentimes readily see the fix to a thing, right? Because most things are very simple. But if you're looking at an entire global corporation or whatever, there's other, I guess, factors that you have to consider, even though the answer is very simple. But what I found is I can easily get caught up in the the ideologies of my ability in my education and my, I don't know, reasoning skills to come up with an idea and be caught up with everyone else as they're talking, as they're suggesting, as they're like, man, why they doing this for? Why they doing that for? It'll make more sense to do it this way. It'll make more sense to do it that way. And I really have found myself in that predicament of just succumbing to um complaining. And maybe it's not complaining, maybe it's concern, but I view it as complaints, because if I was a good employee, I'd be like, hey, they got it, they can figure it out, they the big dogs, that's what they paid them for. They don't pay me to do my job and to do their job in management and CEO and CFO. They don't pay me to do that. They pay me to do my little job. So it is very easy to get caught up in complaining. It is very contagious. I know, like, there's this lady at work. When you start talking to her, it seems like she's just complaining and complaining and complaining and complaining. But I think once you're so readily, that little habit is within you, then you have no other option but to do it. I think it becomes your frame of thought. It becomes your framework for just doing life in general. You no longer consider, you know, if something is glass half full or glass half empty. You always see it from the empty standpoint, and you're just complaining and complaining. It becomes a lifestyle. It becomes a part of your life. It becomes habits. It becomes a frame of thought. It becomes a heart posture. And as a believer in Christ, we understand that we should never complain. There's most Christians in the doctrine, they say there's somebody's life that's always worse than yours. Yeah, but that's relative. My pain may not be the capacity in which that person can handle, and theirs may not be the capacity in which I can handle. So circumstances is relative. But you should always have a grateful heart. You should always have gratitude for whatever the circumstance that you find yourself in, whatever life brings you. You should find the silver lining in it. And when you're complaining, you can't see the silver lining. You're blinded. And just even today of the company implementing new things, and I'm like, this does not make any sense at all. Like, Fam, this is stupid. This is trash. Like that was my thoughts the entire time. And I'm like, they could have slowly phased this in or tried it with a handful of people instead of the entire, department. Now we're slowing down. What the implements they wanted to do, it was supposed to increase productivity, but now it's not increasing productivity. It's actually slowing things down. So it's all very relative to your situation and how you perceive life in general. I think people who are big at complaining, they don't have a good perception of life. And when your perception of life changes, then I believe you're less reluctant or you're more reluctant to complain about certain things. And over this past year, I can see like where I've complained the most is at this job. Where gotten caught up in the contagiousness of complaining has been at this job. Whether it was because I thought that I was better or I thought my understanding of something was more enlightened, um, because I have this amount of degrees or this amount of experience here. It's all because of the perception of myself in those situations compared to others. I think also conversationally, when we frame different things, different ideas, it's always from our vantage point, it's not from the vantage point of others. So it's more easy to complain about something if we can't see it from their vantage point or their viewpoint. And that has been like something that I really hope does not travel with me into next year. I do not want to be complaining. I don't care if it's at my job. I don't care if it's about relationships. I don't care if it's about family. If it's at church, I don't care. Like, I don't want to complain about anything. I want to see it from their vantage point because the fact of the matter is, we don't fight against flesh and blood, but against powers, right? Rulers that we can't see. And if we are understanding of that, then we can quickly gather ourselves, gather our emotions, because complaining is emotion too. It's displacement of an emotion. So when you have disappointment, and that can be at a work job, place, or anywhere in your life, is complaining is a displacement of a feeling that you have not experienced or you're constantly packing down and sweeping under the rug. And so eventually it comes out as a complaint. It comes out as a concern. It comes out very harsh sometimes. And no one likes a person who's complaining all the time. Like, I really don't like when people complain. Even myself, I can just feel my spirit, my soul, like I can feel it. And my spirit's like, absolutely not. What are you doing? Calm that down. Like, you are at 100. Like, I'm gonna need you to bring it down to 1%. You don't. Matter of fact, zero. Because why are you complaining about it? What you gonna do about it? What haven't you done about it? Because there's no sense in complaining about something that you don't have the solution for. If you have the solution for, you shouldn't be complaining. Therefore, if you're complaining, that means that somebody else is the solution. Something else is the solution. So it's not in your ballpark. It has nothing to do with you. It shouldn't concern you. So it is 9 minutes in, and let me wrap this up. Be very careful. We talked about atmospheres yesterday. When you're around people who are complaining, that atmosphere, those thoughts can consume you. That's why I said it's contagious. It's just like yawning is contagion. When somebody is around you and they start yawning, you start yawning. Like, it's contagious. Complaining is contagious. If you stay around people a long time and they're just complaining, you'll start complaining. You'll find yourself complaining about stuff you never thought you'd complain about. and just complain to any and everybody who will listen to hear. Be very mindful of your surroundings. Be very mindful of your thoughts concerning certain situations, certain circumstances in your life. Have a posture of gratitude, regardless of where you are. Try your best to see whatever the situation is, if it's between two individuals, if it's between a company and yourself, or whatever it may be. Try to find a silver lining, but also try to find an eyesight from a different vantage point. Change your heart posture concerning that thing. And if you are the solution, you should not be complaining. Regardless if you're the solution or not, you still shouldn't be complaining. If you're not the solution, you should let it go because somebody else has the solution for that problem or that scenario or that situation. And it may not be to your liking. That's another thing. Most people complain because it's not to their liking. It doesn't fulfill them. It's not the way that they would have done it. So what? Who cares? At the end of the day, it's getting done. It's a solution. It may not be how you thought it would be or how you dreamed it would turn out, but it wasn't up to you. It'd be a different story if it was up to you. Exactly. So, as we go into the new year, as we continue to reflect over these years and past years, look and see where areas you've been complaining. What areas in your life have you complained the most? Where have you complained the most? What atmospheres were you in when you were complaining, when you were doing these things? Was it contagious? Was you just complaining because somebody else was complaining? Just to speak, just to feel air? Like, really do a self evaluation because I don't want to go into next year complaining, and you shouldn't go into next year complaining either. We want to have the most gratitude heart ever, the most fulfilling, uplifting heart posture of gratitude. So it's my prayer. I pray that the Lord will give us the understanding, and as we find these areas of our life that we've complained, and may He give us the capacity to have a sound mind and a pure heart and a sober mind, a sober heart concerning these things, that we will not go into next year complaining about anything. It doesn't matter how our lives look. It doesn't matter how the atmosphere around us look. May we not complain. May we uphold gratitude and a posture of seeing things from a different vantage point, even from the vantage point of others. Okay. See you guys in the next video. Bye.